When you waste time, it's as if you will never die. When you play your life, it's as if you can only live until 30. You don't want success, no. You want immediate success. You're so young, yet you want to peer into the entire world. You're so impatient, and you want to figure out the whole life when you've barely started your life. Welcome to another episode of the Toolkit for Quarter Life podcast. I'm your friend Kitty, as in Hello Kitty. Here you find all the tools you need to go through the quarter life crisis. Let's make these years count. Last week I was watching a video editing tutorial and I stumbled upon a comment. The comment says, I aspire to become a content creator, but I've been creating content and haven't seen any result yet. Can you help me figure out why? I decided to check out that person's personal homepage, hoping to offer some guidance if possible, since I've been creating video content for over 3 years now. But what I saw surprised me. There were only 2 videos on the homepage. Only 2, girl. Of course, no one is going to pay attention to your work at this stage. Of course, you're not among those geniuses whose first video just went viral. They were even 1 in a million. Of course, you're not going to see any immediate result. You're not a sucker. You're just a beginner. One very common misconception, which I've also held for a long time, is that if we don't see any immediate success, we assume something is not meant for us. You write 2 blog posts and only get a few reads, you think, okay, I must be terrible at writing. You start a new relationship, have a fight, and believe, okay, this will never work. You make mistakes at your first job, and you conclude, okay, this career isn't for me. But is it really true? In so many cases, I think what makes us anxious is not whether we can achieve our goals, it's whether we can achieve them immediately. We don't want success, no. We want immediate success. We want to succeed as soon as possible, succeed with minimal effort and no obstacles along the way. Social media today bombards us with quick success stories, and we see people teach us how to achieve something real quick. Transition to a new career under 3 months. Learn a new language in 30 days. Transform yourself in half a year. This seems to be an era where if you don't achieve something in a very short period of time, it's not an achievement anymore. Yeah, it's possible, like maybe you are not a good writer, maybe that person isn't the right one, maybe there is a career out there that suits you better, but it's too early to say, it's too early to give up. More likely, with very few blog posts, you're still honing your writing skills and your 30th blog will be a hit. With the first few fights, you're still exploring a way to get along, and you will enjoy each other's company more and more. And with the few mistakes, you're supposed to make mistakes as a rookie in the job, as every rookie in the job, otherwise your manager's position should be yours. The 10,000 rules does have a point. You're not a sucker, you're just a beginner. You will arrive at where you want to go, you're just not there yet. Not yet means you have potential. Means it's not the final chapter. Means it's okay to not be okay now. I quite like watching Lavender's YouTube channel, and I recall her sharing that it took years, like 4 to 5 years, for her channel to gain traction. She would have regretted giving up if she hadn't persevered. Remember the story of the gold digger who stopped right before finding the diamond? In addition, if you succeed too quickly, you might be addicted to instant gratification, instant feedback, and you might thus hesitant to pursue long-term goals. An example from myself would be for my first channel on Little Red Book, like a Chinese equivalent of Instagram and YouTube combined. My 4th video went a little bit viral, got like a few thousand likes. And that made me think, oh, if I enter into a new platform and if my first pieces of content don't go viral, then this platform is not for me. Different platforms have different audience, have different algorithms, and I also can't deny I was very lucky when I established my first channel. Just as an old Chinese saying goes, 欲速则不达, haste makes waste. If something is worth doing, it's also worth us being beaten many times. It's also worth the patience. It's also worth the wait. Don't turn the urgency of having aspirations into a frantic rush for quick success. Don't delude yourself into thinking that staying up a few nights can achieve results that others have worked hard for several years. Don't delude yourself into thinking that a few years of effort can catch up with the efforts of generations. I have a friend who's still at university, and whenever she complains to me, she was like, I'm so lost. My life is a mess. I'm going nowhere. I'll be like, hang on, girl. You haven't even graduated yet. You're 22. What do you mean your life is going nowhere? Your life hasn't even begun. I personally believe that the reason why we constantly feel anxious in our 20s is that we always fixate on others' achievement in their 30s or even later. While we're still in our 20s, we look up to them, and we very often even get jealous of them, of those who are already standing at the finishing line, while we are still at the starting line. Okay, here comes the cliche. Life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And comparing our chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10 is not only unfair, but entirely unproductive. We sometimes try so hard to follow the societal clock, identified by social psychologists as shared expectations of age-appropriate behavior. Members of society are told explicitly and inexplicitly when it's appropriate to start their first job, to get married, to have a baby, to purchase a house, and to retire. It's like we're all playing this giant game of life, and there's this invisible referee blowing the whistle every time we deviate from the script. In our 20s, you want the prestigious degrees, you want the house, the car, you want the perfect partner, you want the best friend, you want profound insight into the society, and you also want an Instagrammy lifestyle. If you can get all you want in your 20s, what do you plan to do in the following 50 or maybe 60 years after your 20s? Lie on the beach and wait till death? When you waste time, it's as if you will never die. When you plan your life, it's as if you can only live until 30. We're so young, yet we want to peer into the entire world. We're so impatient, yet we want to figure out the entire life when we've just started our life. Life is like playing a video game. At the start of the game, all we have are beginner's weapons, equipment, skills, and some shitty clothing. There's no need to worry in advance about encountering bigger monsters in the future. Just focus on gaining experience, level up, and deal with the current small monsters first. During our quarter life, which in theory is from 18 to 34, we will have to live in a few crummy apartments before finding somewhere nice. We will have to go through some hurtful relationships before finding the right person. We will have to switch jobs a few times before finding the career that we love. And everything before the finale is not failure. It's simply experience. The ancient Chinese master Confucius once said, "At 15, I set my heart upon learning. At 30, I planted my feet upon the ground. At 40, I no longer suffer from perplexities. At 50, I knew what were the biddings of heaven." For many years, the phrase, "At 30, I planted my feet upon the ground," in Chinese, 30而立, has been seriously misinterpreted. People mistakenly assume that it means after you blow off the candles on your 30th birthday cake, you need to buy a house, get married, and settle down. But no, because Confucius himself got married at the age 20, so it's not about that. He was a lecturer who traveled around the 6 different nations in ancient China to spread his wisdom, so he was always on the move and had no need for a house. The most accurate interpretation is that at 30, we take on responsibilities and we establish our purpose and direction in life. For so many times we've heard Forbes 30 under 30, 40 under 40. We live in a society that just loves to celebrate early accomplishments. But what might happen if we shifted and we started to celebrate the late bloomers, or as I once read, the right on time bloomers? I'd be more interested in Forbes 70 under 70 to see who are still lucky enough and persistent enough to be able to still do the thing they love for the whole life. Here's a quote from an Instagram post I stumbled upon this week that really resonated with me. It goes like this. I have so many more lives left in me. I haven't met some of my best friends yet. I haven't traveled to all the places I want to go. I have time to move and time to return home. I'm still learning how to love myself, learning what I'm truly good at. I'm so excited to meet all the future versions of me and hear their stories. So next time you doubt yourself, remember, you're not a sucker. You're just a beginner. This is for today's episode of Toolkit for Quarter Life. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow the channel on Instagram, Toolkit for Quarter Life, and the link can be found in the show notes. If you like what you've been hearing today, could you please follow the show and leave a review? Tell me what you love about this episode, what your favorite episode is, or what you want to hear me talk about in the future. I'm your friend Kitty, as in Hello Kitty. Have a good rest of your day. See you in the next episode.